All right. Yay, I'm so excited. This is the first time that I've ever done this in person. So you guys are probably used to seeing this on like a Zoom, but today I'm gonna be here in person at Kinergy with Noelle. So, and we are talking all things supplement. So this is Noelle, and I'm gonna introduce you by asking her the first question, and then we'll jump right into it because I'm sure we'll go all over the place after that. So how did you get involved with the supplement business, and what was your why behind getting involved?
Wow, it's such a good question, and I have such a huge story. I'm going to try and figure out how to sum it up. So I honestly believe that God told me my purpose was to help people. But I actually became a counselor, and I thought that's how it was going to be. Except that I struggled with depression and anxiety for a long time. And even as a great counselor, I would notice I would still get depression. My clients would still get depression sometimes. And I didn't understand it. So fast forward another 10 years, at 37, I got what I call my rock bottom year. So my sister died of colon cancer, and my sister was the really healthy person. She was 45, she worked out every day, never ate sugar, never had meat, and I wasn't healthy at the time. And I'm thinking, what is health? My nieces at 12 and 14 years old lost their mom. So I got pretty depressed, if I'm gonna be honest, and 6 months later, I got in a horseback riding accident. And I was in the hospital for 10 days, and they're telling me I'm not going to hold my daughter without all these surgeries and all the things that are wrong with me. I basically tore every tendon and ligament in my shoulder. I already had 20 years of back pain, so I'm like, okay, what more? Pain is not a fun thing to handle.
No.
So I got out, and I started learning that all the different medications that they were trying to tell me to take my whole life were how bad they were for and that my liver wasn't doing that well. So I'm thinking at the time, I'm basically saying goodbye to my life. I had already had that year such bad IBS and allergies. I was in the hospital all the time. My face was swelling shut. I was allergic to everything. My IBS was so bad that my ex-husband used to make fun of me that I wouldn't be able to leave him. I would go to the Walmart and I'd be running to the bathroom with bathroom issues all day. So I was in a pretty bad place. I also, for the first time in my life, found myself overweight, full of inflammation and bloating. I had no energy.
Because of the injury.
I didn't sleep or anything. Actually, no, it was because when I got married, I did all these quick fix weight loss things.
Okay.
And it ruined my body. And so I didn't know then that a lot of these quick fix things people are doing are so bad for you. Yeah. So the next year I looked at myself and I'm like, what just happened, right? So I was in a pretty dark place, but the one thing I did know was I had Jesus. So I was on my hands and knees praying for 6 months straight. And my ex-husband would laugh at me. He's a great guy, by the way. I'm not saying anything bad about him. But he would laugh at me. He was like, how long are you going to be crying and on your hands and knees? And I'm like, till God answers, because God is faithful. And as soon as he answers and he gives me a way to help myself so I can help others, I'll listen. Well, 6 months later, what I didn't realize until later was it was actually a year to the week that my sister had died. My ex-husband, told me we were ordering some supplements and they were going to help me. And I'll be honest, I laughed in this space. I was like, how's this going to help me? I had already spent what I thought was he called it my $1 million cover. I had bought everything, I had tried everything, and I'm like, I've done it all. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, but you said you'd never quit trying. And I was like, you're right. I'm like, I guess I would stand on my head and eat dog poo if you told me to. So I was like, I'll take these supplements. But I really had no hope for them. He told me I was taking them for some energy and to lose some weight. And at the time, I thought that would be good enough because I would look at my 5-year-old daughter and I would cry every night because I thought she deserved a better mom. I'm sorry, I'm going to try not to cry. My daughter deserved a better mom. I never wanted to get up. I never wanted to do anything. I didn't want to play with her. I wasn't sleeping. It was terrible. So I said, if I could get some energy to play with my kid, that would be my why. I would do this. And it felt like it was overnight. I don't think it was because supplements take time. But when I think back, all of a sudden I was sleeping well and I had all this energy. And people were asking me, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know, it's illegal, it works, whatever. But the months to come, I started changing so much. My workouts were becoming amazing. My pain was going away. So my physical therapist was like, I don't know what you're doing, but you don't need me anymore. Went to the surgeon, he's like, I don't know what you're doing, but
you don't need me anymore.
You don't need me
yeah,
anymore.
That's good.
What is going on? So my body was changing quick. I was gaining muscle. I was when you get rid of inflammation and bloating in your body, you look like a completely different person.
Yeah.
So before I even lost a pound, I looked different. So of course everyone's asking me. I'm still not. My ex-husband goes, why don't you share this stuff? Why don't you do this as a business? I'm like, I will punch you in the face. I'm like, I'm not a salesperson. And this was one of those things that, you know, when you hear something that hurts so bad, but it was really important to hear.
Yeah.
I said, my purpose from God is to help people. And he said, you are a depressed counselor on the couch. How are you helping anyone? And it hit me like a sword going in me, but it made sense. Okay, I was a depressed counselor. Now I'm happy and full of energy. I could help people.
Yeah.
But for me, being me, I had people, like, we just want to do what you're doing. So I'm like, fine, do it. But within 2 months, I was helping so many people, and so many people were thanking me, and I was a people pleaser back then. I've done a lot of work to recover from that. But I was like, okay, there's something to this. But then I had to understand it all. So I really started understanding gut health, inflammation, and balancing your sugars and hormones and how they all affect your body. And then it made total sense. Like the months to come, my depression went away, my anxiety, my IBS, my allergies. Like, I have a fluffy cat that sleeps on my head. I used to be allergic to you, like to dust mites, to cats, to everything.
Yeah.
So as my life was changing, I was helping more and more people with it. And I actually started a whole business just on sharing with people that we had something we could help other people with. And so I didn't talk to people about the money you could make or the things you could do. It was just what these supplements could do to help others. And it was my biggest passion and purpose. And now, obviously, it's expanded to so much more. I love that it's like my supplements are my gateway drug. I can help people feel their best, but then I can show them things like, you know, things that you do. To talk to them about Jesus or working out or nutrition or mindset. Really big on mindset. But I love that it's a way that people can feel good enough to want to do all the other things.
And I think it's so amazing because the stories, your story is so similar to mine with the water, and it's just perfect. Like right now, I actually have the active and is in mine. This has now become, besides the tea, this is the only thing that I put in are these are my two favorite. Actually, I brought my two favorite. This active one, I think this is like the peach flavored one. I love this one. That's what's in that drink right now. And then this, what do you call this one? This was the pink.
It's called Slim. It is our pink drink.
I like this one
It's
too.
not about, I wish it wasn't called Slim.
I know.
The reason they call it Slim is it was originally made for diabetics to balance their sugars, their cholesterol, their lipid levels, their bodies. Well then, when they did the clinical trials, it helped everyone who needed to lose weight. However, people who are underweight still take it because they added in a bunch of gut health stuff too.
Yeah.
So by balancing your gut microbiome and then balancing your sugars and your insulin and your hormones, you can gain weight if you need to gain muscle because you're not absorbing your nutrients if your gut lining isn't correct.
Nice.
But you can also lose weight if you are having, you know, like it helps with sugar cravings and it's balancing your body. And
So I think that's why I like it. So I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum of diabetes. I have hypoglycemia, but it's pretty much managed by just trying to drink and eat regularly. But I wonder if that's why, because I'll find like if I've skipped a meal or I'm not drinking enough of my water, that I'll get that kind of like almost the same jittery thing that like a diabetic would get. And this is like great for that. So I wonder, even on the opposite end, if it helps with the hypoglycemia as well as the diabetes, even though we're on two opposite ends of the spectrum. So those are my two. Yeah. I brought my two favorites.
I used to have hypoglycemia really bad, and I haven't had it in 10 years. In 10 years, I haven't had any of that. Yeah. No depression or anxiety, but I have worked on my mindset. I like to tell people it's a two-part thing.
It is. There's a lot of
stuff.
And that's so I love that too, because it is like obviously with the water that I talk about, and you guys all know I talk about the water all the time, but you can actually literally partner these two together. You can put this in the water, because otherwise I was just drinking the water. I try not to put, I try to avoid like the red dyes and all the kind of things, all the sugary stuff that you put in there. I'm guilty of doing it on occasion, but I try not to.
And I'm loving adding the water now to my.
Yes.
I feel like, okay, I'm in complete health now. I have the supplements and the water, which is perfect.
Yes, and it's funny because we kind of came to it in a similar way, and I always tell, my clients will know this. I always tell people, like, you say, okay, I want to work out, and I want to work out so that I lose weight, which I don't actually love that, because sometimes you don't lose weight. Sometimes you actually gain weight because you're gaining muscle while you're losing body fat. So I don't love that as a goal. But I always tell people, like, ask yourself why 5 times. And you mentioned a couple different whys in there, which I love, that actually align right with me, which is the why for your daughter. Like, you wanted to be a better version of you for her, which I absolutely love. Because I think, for me, a motivator outside of doing it for myself is much more motivating than doing it for me. Like I will do it for them to be a better version of me for them than I ever will do for myself. And then for clients, like I do get the same. I get a lot of like, I always say it fills my cup. I don't know how else to say it. But when I think that I'm actually like helping somebody, or when somebody was like, oh, that really helped me, that really made me get over this hump, or that made me, you know, I love coming in to work out with you because you have such a good energy, and I love to hear that because it fills my cup.
To you too.
Yeah.
You have the best energy, and you're such a blessing.
So I love that. So I think, you know, I think when we get down to the why outside of it, and it sounds like you have a couple of whys within this business, which really makes sense as to why you're so motivated to stay in it. And I just love how the two of them are just so complementary. Okay, so here's
one more thing the pink drink does, and I just find this fascinating, is the prebiotics in it that help your gut health. They improve acromantia by 250%. They increase it. Now,
what's acromantia?
It's a bacteria. When they did the studies on people with depression, they had no acromantia. So it fascinates me because I gave a girl a couple samples last week. She goes, am I supposed to be feeling happy? I'm like, yes. She goes, I feel happy and full of energy. It doesn't have any caffeine, but balancing the sugars gives you energy.
Oh, I love that.
And then increasing the right part of your gut health and the right bacteria in your gut microbiome makes you feel happier.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. That's amazing. Having people be happier, that's such a big thing, honestly,
really
that people don't, like you said, mindset. You know, I always tell people like, yeah, coming in and working out is great, but you do have to do other things. You do have to work on your mindset. That's why I call it like the good PMS. It's physical, mental, and spiritual fitness. And they do kind of work together really well, because if you don't have one of those three pillars, your chair is going to be a little more tilty than you need it to be.
And that's why I knew God put you on my path, because Dan and I have always been all about talking to people about mind, body, soul health.
Yes.
Right? And
that's what I said. We line up pretty well. Okay, so what are your three favorites? So I've showed you a couple of mine just for the drinks. What are your three favorite supplements or products, and why?
Okay, it's such a tough one because I really do love all of our products, but what I usually start people on were the products that saved my life. So the ones that changed my life was, we put them in a bundle, we call them the triplex. But although if anyone's ever gonna order them, reach out to Gatura, because everybody needs different things. Everyone has a different body. But the three products work synergistically together to balance your gut microbiome, lower your inflammation, and then balance your sugars and hormones.
Okay.
So the pink drink we've already talked about. Our Probio 5 is different than any other probiotic because instead of just throwing a bunch of good bacteria in, like most probiotics, which is great, we need the good bacteria, but instead of just throwing the good in, it's trying to overcrowd the bad. You need the antifungals and digestive enzymes that we have that kills the candida. So candida is like a hard cockroach shell. It's obviously microscopic. So you need to actually kill that and then flush it out. So then we have a product called BioCleanse, which is oxygenated magnesium, vitamin C, but it's actually cleansing your intestinal tract, cleansing your colon. My sister died of colon cancer, so I'm really big on that. It's oxygenating your body and blood cells so disease won't survive in an oxygenated environment. But it's basically the three parts are doing all of those things. And it also relieves you of bloating, which is a huge thing people
The BioCleanse is the one, so that one's a supplement, like a pill. So this one is like this.
Yeah.
Is the other one also a pill?
The Probio 5 is a pill also. So it's super simple. That's what's the greatest thing.
I love simple.
Like 2 pills at night, drink your drink anytime you want, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And then it's funny because for my next favorite product, it's so hard because I love, like, we have an awesome fully methylated, vitamin. We also have an awesome fat burner that's natural, but I would probably say it's Ease, because Ease is our all-natural anti-inflammatory. Okay. And as I told you, I used to be in extreme pain all the time.
And for people that work out, anti-inflammatories are important.
Yeah, sometimes it's just that I did a hard workout. I can take 2 of these on an empty stomach and I can go do backflips. I'm gonna be 48, I do backflips now, and the reason I think that's important to tell people is I went from overweight on the couch being told I wouldn't lift my daughter to a pro fitness competitor. And I did all that just because I didn't like people telling me I couldn't, but because I was like, this is what's possible, I had I have a son who's about to be 4, and I had him at 44. They told me at 37 I would never have another baby. Like, when you balance your body and get it feeling and looking at it the way it's supposed to, you can do anything. Like, we're reverse aging.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I fully believe it.
And isn't it funny, because I do see and I feel like, I don't know if it's like our generation, but I do feel like I see women, especially that are our age, that are like, they do seem like they're reverse aging, or at least they're like kind of standing still. And then I'll see like some girls in their like 20s, and they look like they could be like in their 30s or 40s. So I'm like, we need to start getting some of this messaging out to the 20 and 30-year-olds, so that they can get ahead of it now, and be in that, because man, I sometimes I'm like, man, would 20-year-old Keturah even listen to me? I hope so. I hope so.
20-year-old Noelle wouldn't have listened.
I know. 20-year-old Keturah was pretty stubborn, so I'm like, that's how I think. Like, I'm like, if we talk to them, would they actually listen? So if you're in your 20s and you're listening, listen. Take it from 51-year-old Keturah that would have told 20-year-old Keturah to listen, but I don't know if I would.
I have noticed a lot of young people joining us.
That's
like
awesome.
Excited
I
to
love
take
that.
supplements, excited to be healthy. I think that that things are starting to flip, and
That's
that
good.
people want to be healthy younger.
I think that's, and you know what, I think that maybe an upside of COVID is people, you know, I always try to look at the glass half full type of a approach, and I think because of COVID, people took a lot more stock in their personal, almost took ownership of their personal health and well-being. And I think overall, even though it was a crazy time, you know, if that ends up being the byproduct of that, I think that's a good thing. That people really took stock of their own health and took control of it and said, okay, I'm going to start really focusing on being healthier. So that because that is what helps you to withstand attacks like the coronavirus was to our systems. Right? Is being healthier.
I love that. And the other thing I think is cool about your water and our supplements is a lot of people get overwhelmed. They think they've got to start eating perfect and working out. They like got this whole list and they're gonna fail, right? Because what they need to learn how to do is something simple and start habit stacking, right?
Yeah.
So something like drinking a water or taking a supplement to get you. I naturally started craving healthier food when my body started being balanced.
Yes.
And I naturally had more energy to work out.
And do you find when you eat something bad, then your body like totally rejects it? Like you feel terrible.
I actually don't get that now.
Gosh,
Here's
I
what's
get
funny.
that now, which is crazy.
I used to be gluten intolerant. My daughter was lactose intolerant. We had all these issues. When we got our gut healthy, it now doesn't affect me, but I don't crave it as much.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to go to Thanksgiving and eat all the desserts. I want like a couple bites, and then I'm like, that was good.
That's good.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I know what you're saying for sure, because
for me, it's like my body, like now that I've got it healthier and it's in a good state, it's like almost like my body wants to reject it. Like I eat something, I'm like, I'm gonna feel bloated, or I'm gonna feel gross for like the next few hours. So it does become a deterrent for me.
Right.
And I love that too, because I think that is the biggest. I always tell people, you know, the toughest day is the day with working out is the day after you missed. Is the next time that you're supposed to go, because you do feel like, you know, I have a lot of clients that say this, that, oh, well, I missed it, so now I'm done. No, you don't have to do everything. Just continue to take steps. And I think that there's kind of a scriptural thing with that too, because again, I think in the Bible, some of the Old Testament stories, if they don't show us anything, they definitely show us that we're never going to be able to earn our way into heaven, which is why we needed a savior, because we're just trying to take steps to improve. I'm just trying to get closer to being like Jesus. I'm never going to achieve it because that's impossible. So I think that it's a good message with this too, is that, hey, if you fall off the horse, if you will, or if you fall off the proverbial horse, just get back on. That's the most important time, is to get back going, to go after you missed, to read your Bible the day after you missed your morning, you know, Bible reading, or the time that you missed that group that you wanted to go to, or the class, or you forgot to take, you know, your bio clients for a day, and you're like, oh, well, I know I've ruined everything. No, just do it tomorrow.
Start then. It's even more powerful.
So
you know, my biggest tip for people in that area, whether it's workouts or supplements or what you're eating, is who you surround yourself with is everything, right? You are like the people you surround yourself with. So, for example, if they go to your workouts, they could message you and say, you know, I'm committed to coming these days. And that way, Keturah will be your support partner. You said you were coming on Wednesday. You're coming, right? That's what I do when people join for supplements. The saddest thing to me is when people are like, oh, I just ordered supplements, but like never told anyone. I'm like, no, like when you order our supplements, you get a health coach, you get support, you get a cheerleader, an accountability coach.
Accountability is so huge.
So I think everyone needs the right people to surround themselves with and the right accountability. Like if I were just to go to the gym by myself every day, I'd probably miss all the time because I wake up, I'm like, I don't want to go, but I told Katura I'd be in a class today. Right.
If you know somebody's waiting for you, or know somebody's going to follow up, and accountability is huge. I know and I have heard that. I think it's actually my pastor that says that says, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And I do think that that's important, is to, kind of surround yourself and be with people that are moving in that same direction, because they will motivate you, and you're going to have your good days and they're going to have their good days, and you can kind of feed off that from the other person. They're like, oh, well, this is an update for me. I know Noelle's waiting for me at the gym. I'm going to show up, even if I have no desire to get out of bed that morning. Because sometimes you get outside and I'm like, ooh, it's cold. I could definitely go back. But then if you know there's two people waiting there, you're like, or and I've done this, you guys know, if you don't show up, I will message you. And I'll be like, hey, missed you this morning.
I love that.
Are you okay? And some of it is a concern because, I'm like, hey, are you all right? That's the maternal side of my personality going, do I need to come check on you? Like, do I need to drive by? And I have all your addresses, so I could actually do that. I could. If I don't hear from you, I probably would get worried. Any other products that you think are like on your...
Oh, so many good ones. So Active, the one she was talking about, we have peach, mango, starfruit, guava, and pineapple. And it really is. It has none of the bad stuff. Like, you want to avoid artificial sweeteners, which has a million names, sucralose, aspartame, and the most common. But those lead to dementia. They also help you hold on to weight. They're actually made with chemicals like chlorine.
It's crazy, right?
So you want something natural, and ours actually helps you produce nitric oxide. So it's just got so many good benefits, but without it's sweetened with a little bit of stevia, so it's all natural.
Yeah, it tastes great.
We also have our Hydrate, which is a hydration drink. It replenishes all your electrolytes and minerals, so I do love that one. We have a ton of stuff if people, want weight loss or weight gain or, you name it. But
and you have a link too, don't you, that people can buy from? So I'm gonna put that in the notes below so you guys can get to the link. I'm gonna make it real easy for you.
But if you do order, can I leave my phone number or something?
Yes. I'll put the number in there too.
I like to personally get to know people. I like to be able to help them select the best products for them. I also like to get people the best deal. So we always have different specials running. You just need to have the coupon code. So
that's awesome.
I never want anyone to have to pay full price. I will tell you, it's super cheap. I mean, literally, you can get our whole system for $4 a day. And if any of you have been to Starbucks, you know that most things are more than $4 a day.
Yeah.
So you can completely heal your body for $4 a day. But the one little caveat is you have to be consistent.
Yeah.
Like you can't, just like going to the
working
gym,
out,
eating
the
all
water,
day.
you have to be consistent.
You
I'm like, if you drink it and then you go and drink tap water, and you're like mixing it in, it's not going to be as...
Like if I came to her and was like, Katura, I drank your water every other Tuesday and I didn't see huge results. You're like, well, the other 6 days of the week you were ruining. So it's like, it's super simple, but you have to take it every day.
Yeah, you do. Consistency is a really important with regards to the water, the supplements, working out, mental, your mental exercises. All of that is important to be consistent with. Okay, so third question, what is something you wish people knew about these supplements?
I wish people understood the importance of healing their body. I wish people knew that you could go to, our supplements are just as cheap as going to Walmart or Better Health, but like you don't know what they're putting in that. Whereas if you get a coach, like we have a nurse practitioner on our team who every month does a call where she will break down every ingredient and tell you what like there's a strain of bacteria that kills cancer. She'll tell you why our company uses that strain, why each thing is done the way it is, and she does all her own research. It's not even through our company.
Oh, that's
but
awesome.
Like, I think it's important that people know that I'm not going to say anything bad about Western medicine. People may need it. But most of these things you're taking, whether it's for your anxiety or your depression or your acid reflux or whatever you're going through, your migraines, the Motrin, the Tylenol, all this stuff is a Band-Aid and it has side effects.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Like, I don't know if it's me. I'm like, is it just me? Or when you watch those things on TV and it's like the side effects sometimes seem
You're gonna
worse.
die, right?
I know. I always joke, like when we're watching that, and I'm like, or your left arm can fall off. Like, but don't worry, you won't have the sniffles anymore, but your eye will fall out of your head and your arm could fall off. And I'm like, these are the craziest, because it'll be like line after line after line of some of the craziest symptoms, or I guess by symptoms of, and it could be like the simplest thing that they're trying to solve, and then there's like 87 side effects that you could, including like your arm falling off.
Right.
That's what I always think. I'm like, is anybody else, like, are we being punked right now?
Right.
Because sometimes I'll watch it and I'll be like, do they really expect people to, like, I'm not a fan of taking medication. Like, I'm just not a fan of it. I for one, I believe that, like, if I have a headache or if I have a cold or if I have a fever, I want my body to at least have a chance to do what my body's supposed to do.
Right.
So, I try not to take, like, I'm the last person that will go to, like, take that. I'm like, let me see if my body can fight it off itself first, because I don't want the side effects.
Right.
Like, the side effects is crazy.
And then a lot of things people don't realize is that it makes things even worse for you. So, like,
It's a Band-Aid.
I've seen so many. I used to be that person. I would lose 30 pounds and then I gained 50. Like, it was like now 10 years. I even had a baby and went right back to the weight I was before. Like, not the same exact weight, because like Katura said,
At what they call advanced maternal age.
Right.
Oh, I hated that when I had my kids. They're like, you're an advanced maternal age. Anything over 35, they consider advanced maternal age.
I was geriatric. But the thing is, I always stay the same now. Because I did it the right way and I balanced my body. And we do have something, actually it's free until the end of the month. There's something called a 3-day reset. It's usually like about $89.
Oh, nice.
But it's free with any purchase through the end of the month. It is actually a 3-day nutritionally based fast where they scientifically designed it so you've got enough protein to keep your muscle. It resets your metabolism. So you're losing weight, but it's not just water weight. People are continuing to lose weight after because they're resetting their gut. They're resetting their metabolism. And that's amazing awesome. For like the quick weight loss. You're guaranteed to lose 6 pounds or more. But like, I never let anyone, not that I don't let them, but I'm like, don't buy just that. You need to continue with your health regimen or you will go back, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Again, consistency.
Right.
So, all right. I know we gave you a ton of information, but don't worry, because it's going to be on YouTube and you can just like rewind and watch. And I am going to, and I'm going to put phone number. And I'm also going to put the link, so you guys will have. But again, take advantage. You know, if you have someone that's going to help guide you, because everybody is different. You know, that's why we say fishing for your fitness. You've got to find a fitness that works for you. Just because I love kickboxing and weightlifting doesn't mean that kickboxing and weightlifting will work for you. So having somebody that can guide you and help you determine what is going to be great for you is amazing. And definitely take advantage of it. So,
and lean into, like, you guys are so blessed to have Katura. I'm so blessed. I feel like God just sent me here on a platter. I think the thing people do is when they struggle or they're self-doubting themselves, they don't think to reach out. Yes. Reach out to Katura. Reach out to me. Like, we are here to serve and help. And it might not be with water and supplements. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's
just somebody to listen.
Right.
Sometimes that's what it is, right? Mm-hmm. And I love that. And that's again why we line up, I think, so well. So reach out, ask questions. We want to help. And if I don't know the answer, which when it comes to supplements, I'm not going to, I'm just going to put you in contact with her. But I can help do that. Yeah. So if you're like, I can't find the link, I can't find her number, don't worry. I can find her.
Well, I know where she lives. We're just meant to be connectors. And same with you guys. If you start to notice you're doing better in one area of your life, help someone one step behind you. Yes. Because that is so powerful to be able to teach someone what you're learning.
And it fills your cup. So, and that's, I mean, like I said, I love it when people reach out because that does fill my cup because I want to be able to help and connect. So this has been amazing. I might have to do this in person again. I loved this.
I like this.
This is so much more fun than, I mean, I like the Zoom. And so for anybody that's ever done a Zoom with me, I like that too. But man, this being in person is great. I love this.
I love it too.
And this is a great spot too. We have like a little fireplace. All right. There we go. That was a good one. Loved it. You guys got a lot of information. Oh, that was so good.